Some of my best ideas for new postings come from reading my colleagues' locker gnome postings. I'm actually reading from the article that we've linked to in the video's description. Noise is good. No, really. Noise can be very useful. In particular, Ron recently posted a piece about how to tell if a photo has been altered. Since I have spent a lot of time restoring damaged photos and even had some of my own work published, detecting what someone else has done to photos has always been a puzzle. How do you decide if a photo is pristine? Once you develop some competence with Photoshop or GIMP, you start to look at other people's photos a little differently. Sometimes you only have a nagging feeling that something's not quite right. But how can you tell for sure? One surprising answer is to consider the noise in an image. Noise is the random fluctuations that, in a good image, are small enough that you don't really notice them. But noise is always present. Usually those images, and this is my own words, not reading directly from the paragraph, noise is usually present in images that are shot with low light. Some images shot on the iPhone, people say, gosh, there's a lot of noise there. Yeah, but at least the photo came out clear. Colors weren't, terribly washed out. And the lines were crisp. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of noise inside my photos, but I'm not going to start carrying around a massive DSLR when 99% of the time the lens on my smartphone or your smartphone will do. And it seems, quite like an interesting topic of conversation. There are many ways to detect simple changes. There are several methods that rely on inherent noise in an image. So, there are some people who are inclined to wipe all noise out of an image, but when you do that, it kind of gives it a watercolored or painted look. If you've ever used the noise removal feature of any particular software, and you'll know it's noise because it kind of looks grainy, right? It's noise. One method is to introduce a slight bit of uniform noise to copy of an image or to a copy of the image and then subtract the doctored image from the original. So if you're trying to cover up your tracks because you've doctored an image, it may be easy to see because the noise isn't uniform. You can always add noise again. There's usually a noise add filter. There's a little tip for you on kind of how to cover your tracks when it comes to doctoring a photo. Really the other side of what we had presented just last week there on lockergnome.com. There's also a tutorial that we linked to in the Scientific American article that we had talked about, talked about original parts and modified parts. You can easily cover your tracks, but you got to know what you're doing. There was a report last week where a hacker was bragging by taking a photo of his message in front of his girlfriend's breasts, which were partially exposed, but he forgot to strip the geotag from the image that he took with his smartphone, and so authorities were able to get a hold of him. So, yes, guy was smart, just got outsmarted by technology. Sometimes you're your own worst enemy and you don't even realize it. So, if you've looked or been looking to doctor an image, to make it look like it wasn't doctored, try adding a bit of noise and then subtracting the original image from what you had originally added noise to. And you could come up with an image that looks like it wasn't doctored. Give it a shot. Not to say that you should be doctoring images. I mean, you could easily replace the head of me with the head of anybody right now. Who would I be? Joan Rivers? Hugh Jackman? Anybody else?